Hello, everyone. Welcome to Keith and Glory.
We're Not Sorry, your new favorite podcast where two lifelong best friends bring you lighthearted banter on all things pop culture, fashion, music, and everything in between. With 30 years of friendship under our belts, we're diving into hot topics, real life stories, and playful debates. And we want to bring you along for the ride. And we're back.
Woo! Welcome back to Keith and Glory.
Corey really wanted me to change it up this beginning, so... And we're back. It was. How are you, Gloria? You look great.
Thank you. I'm good. How are you doing? You don't look very shiny over there, so I see you did a little powder.
Little pow pow.
Little
Little
pow-pow.
pow pow.
Okay.
Is that what you guys call it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think we have to, before we start this episode, which I'm super excited about, the home episode.
Mm-hmm.
Me and you have been practicing for this for years. God, shopping at Home Sense in the 90s.
I have gone through many iterations of homes and like trends and like we're gonna get into all the new hottest
And
trends. Yeah.
yeah, we'll get into that. But before, what I am sorry for this week, I know our podcast is We're Not Sorry, but for what I am sorry about is I missed reading my grade 5 journals last week. And I just couldn't believe we did have it in the notes, but we were just getting so excited with Ella, our special guest at the end, who got rave reviews, let me tell you.
I love that little thing.
You know, it's the only one to call Lizard a thick baddie. Still makes me laugh. But yeah, so what I am sorry about this week, a very Canadian way to start the podcast, is that I didn't get to read my journals last week. So I have 3, I think, that I'm going to read to start off. February 11th,
I can't wait.
1988.
So are we in the grade 7 or the grade, like what journal are we
1988,
in?
grade 5.
Grade
Grade 5. And
5.
we're not even at the Milano stage yet.
Okay.
February 11th, right at the beginning. Well, Bob, how are you? I'm fine. I really don't have much to write about except that I got another love note.
Oh.
And if you look, I underlined another.
Another.
Apparently, they were just coming in like I couldn't stop them.
Oh my gosh. Keith, I love your self-confidence. Like you really liked yourself. I love that about you.
This is before, I guess, it all went crumbling. It was from a grade 6. Of course, I was in grade 5, so no big
An
deal.
older flame. Woo.
It said, "Dear Keith, I really like you, and you wanted to know why, so here it is. You're funny, good looking, and smart. Tell me if you like me." I guess I kind of read it creepily.
Did you write
So,
back?
Tanya, I actually thought that we might have had a quick little romance with an older woman when I was in grade 5. No big deal.
Do you remember
Just
do you remember who Tanya is?
I do, totally. I've actually looked for her on Facebook like a few times over the years and have never been able to find her because of course women change their name, right? So
Right. Well, Tanya, if you're listening, give Keith a little DM. Slide into his DMs. It sounds like he's not over it if he's still searching you years later.
well, no, I just thought, yeah. So just my little Mrs. Robinson phase of life in grade 5. We all go through a
I
phase.
like that one. Okay.
He says, "I better go. Love, Keith." Next day, February 12th. Oh, God. Well, Bob. Well, Bob. I'm going to start the episode now.
Well, Bob,
Boy.
you're like leading
Well,
in.
Bob. This is February 12th. Well, Bob, today was the Hot Shots finals. Hot Shots is something in basketball. I just can't put down that ball.
You were such a sports person back in the day. Can you
Hot
name
Shots is
6
something.
basketball teams today?
The Toronto Raptors,
1,
the Chicago Bulls, the Milwaukee Grizzlies.
2. I mean, I don't even know how to fact check this.
I
3.
think so. The LA Lakers.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The
Think of all the
New York
Kardashians'
Knicks.
boyfriends.
The New York Knicks.
Okay.
And the New Jersey Nets.
Good job,
6.
Keith. You're
Do I have
such a
another one
dude.
in there? isn't there like a Phoenix Suns and the Phoenix Suns, just in case the Milwaukee Grizzlies isn't a thing, I want to get 6 in there.
Ding, 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 ding. Okay.
Yeah, and I could have just totally made these all up and you would have been
I
like,
would never
"Right,
have known. I was
right."
like, "Okay, yeah, it sounds right."
But had you asked me in 1988, that I would have known. I
You
think I was a
would,
real basketball fan.
clearly.
Hot shots is something in basketball. It's where you have to shoot baskets in the hoop and there's spots all over the floor. And you have to have 1 foot on the spot and shoot for a basket. And whoever gets the most points wins. My best friend John won for the grade 5 boys. And Johnny and Susan won for the grade 6s. By the way, if you win, you get your name on a plaque. Big whoop. Love KJM. Guess I was a little bitter. My
Big
name wasn't on
whoop.
that plaque. Big whoop.
Oh god. Okay.
Okay, I'll read one more. February 13th. I don't want to get into Valentine's Day because God knows the love letters were coming in that day. February 13th. Hi, Bob. Today was the opening ceremonies for the 1988 Olympics in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Calgary is a city with ski hills and skyscrapers. I'm in Nancy Green. In my Nancy Green race, I came 8th out of 93. Last week, I came 10th. Quite an improvement. I gotta go right now because I'm supposed to be sleeping. It's 9:02. I just went to bed.
Oh,
See ya. Love
9:02.
Keith J. Madge.
9:02. You're 2 minutes past the curfew.
Just writing in my journal in the dark, I'm sure, hoping I didn't get busted.
That is dedication. Like, now kids would never be. They'd be on their phones or their tablets.
I know there was nothing like that.
I know. Oh,
All right, we just had to get to Bobby. Well, Bob.
I
Well,
missed
Glory.
Bobby. I'm glad we got back to Bob. Hey,
We just
well,
had to hit
Bob.
it from the top. Well, Bob.
Well, Bob, today's home episode. One of my favorite things in the world is not just fashion, but I'm obsessed with interior design. I wish I did this for a living. There's no way I could
Mm,
restart over now, but I love interior design. And I actually think I have a pretty good eye for it. I did my whole house without one, and I think it turned out really nice.
and it turned out beautifully.
Mhm.
And as I was doing my research for the home episode today, I was like going on different sites like Architectural Digest and Martha Stewart and looking up like the trends for 2025. You really hit
I
a
think
lot
I
of
did. I
ground.
feel like I
And I
nailed
don't
them
even
before they
think
got here. I know.
I think you planned this in 2024
I was
because what are
ahead of
you
the time.
not sorry for this week, Glory?
I am not sorry for well, I am sorry for contractors that were supposed to be finished 2 years ago, and, uh, like, I'm way over time, and I'm way over schedule, and I'm way over budget, which I do not like in all aspects of my life, and here we are 3.5 years later, and I am still renovating this house.
Yes. Well, I mean, late and over budget is never two things you'd think of, I know, when you think of Glory. Just don't I saw your face and you're like, "Yeah," and you're like, "Wait a second." I
Well
mean, I think forget Ananda, your middle name could be late and over budget.
At work, I am very much things have to be on time and delivered efficiently, so
Okay, well, you being your authentic self in your personal life, you're always a little late and over budget.
you know, that's good. That could be true.
So do tell us, like, so like I said, you were hitting these 2025 trends in 2024 when you planned this, maybe 2023
Yeah, it's been
when the
3 years. I've
initial
been doing
plan
this for 3 years.
started.
My contractor and I said the other day, we met 3 years ago, and I was like, "Yeah, Bob," and I was supposed to be in by the way, my builder is called Bob the Builder.
Oh,
Yeah.
no way. Well, Bob.
Oh, well, Bob. Well, Bob, um, we were supposed to be in by that Christmas, and here we are. We're on phase 3. We decided to do it in different phases, so it's not really all his fault, and along the way, I have upgraded 1,000 things, so the budget
Yeah.
is my fault. So I will
So phase 1 was the main floor, kitchen, dining room,
yeah, the main living area, when we bought this house so in Peachtree City, all the houses are, like, 20 years old, and they all need to be renovated, so it was more like location, 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 and then Eric and I, we
and your backyard was your big selling point.
that was the selling point. It was not the
Mhm.
house. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I was living in Houston at the time, Eric was living here, and also there's not a lot of there's not a lot of, product on the market here, like, things go really, really quick, and it was back in when it was, like, 3 years ago when it was a really, really hot market where people were, like, in bidding wars to get houses and, like, things this house didn't even come on the market. Anyway, Eric knew a friend, we knew a friend who knew this was coming in the market, so Eric kind of, like, drove by and the homeowner was outside, and I was like, FaceTime video it, and he, like, I was in Houston, he FaceTime videoed the backyard, and I was like, "Eric, I'm buying it. I don't care what the inside looks like, this is it."
Yeah.
And then we walked the inside.
Yeah.
Oh, and it was such a disappointment.
Okay, so we're going to be, for people that are listening, through our YouTube, you can kind of view it, and we're gonna be inserting pictures here, and I think this is a good part to insert. First, start with your backyard, and then we'll
We
insert the
could do
before,
before and
like,
afters.
a
So
couple
I
before
this
pictures.
literally was the worst floor plan. The master bedroom is small for this type of a house. I had the closet was a shoebox and it was really hard to imagine how you could redesign it to make it any better. But
Mhm.
it was just cookie cutter, there was not an open floor plan, like, it was a lot it was the old grape seed bordered wallpaper in the kitchen and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, anyway,
Just like Southern 90s.
yes, it had not been touched since it had been I mean, it was clean and it was, all probably really nice quality things when it was built, but it hadn't been touched. So anyway, phase 1 was the interior. So, like, the main living space. So the living room, we had a sunroom, like, there was a big fireplace wall, so we did, like, knockdown walls. We pushed back out the back of the house, and extended the deck, and then yeah, so it was kind of like living space, my laundry room, my ensuite bath. So that was
So
phase 1.
everything on your main floor, kitchen, dining room. So where that sunroom was is now your dining room.
Correct. And then
Where
the
did you push it out then?
on the my deck was pushed out on that side of the house.
Ah,
Yeah. And then phase 2 was the outside. So we did all the paint, we did all the railings, we had, like, arches and the, like, kind of old school '80s arches underneath the deck in the before, and we totally, like, cleaned up the lines outside to make it look more modern, took all the stuff there was a lot of, like, decor, like, there was, like, those cedar shakes on the front of the house, like, it kind of, like, had a
oh,
whole
yeah.
so I took all of that off and we restucco, we made a nice arched, like, double door in the front, so that was phase 2, and then phase
And then
3 is our master wing, so it's like there's a door you walk in and I have a closet on one side, we took over Eric's office, so I turned that into my closet. We have our bedroom, and then because Eric and we travel he travels or he's like we have such different schedules, like, he's a pilot, he's up early flying at, like, 3 in the morning. We wanted, like, the bathroom and the closets and everything separate from our main where we sleep, so you can
mhm.
close the door, get ready, and you're not, like, in and out interrupting each other, so, yeah, so it's
Yep.
kind of like a whole thing. Anyway, yeah, so we're on phase 3, we are so close to the finish line, they put in the marble in my closet today, they're sanding the floors.
And, like, it's beautiful.
It's
Okay, but we're gonna get to the closet
later,
at
yeah.
the end of the episode when they ask us anything.
Yeah, okay, and then, yeah, they're gonna sand the floors when we're gone on a cruise in a couple weeks, and I think I can finally move up into my dream closet. I'm so excited.
Yes, and we'll be filming an episode from there. I think one of my favorite things about your house is, of course, well, I mean, the backyard is phenomenal. But inside the house, your staircase is unbelievable. Love your
Mhm.
staircase and love all the windows and how it just kind of opens all up into the backyard. And
Yeah, it was a
was
joke,
the
like, with
pool?
Eric, because I was like, "Well, this is the focal point when you walk in," like that. First, it was the stair we had a real boxed in staircase, and we wanted to open it up, so we did those floating stairs, and
Oh,
I was like, "Eric, we have to spend the money because it's the focal point when you walk in," and then it was, "Eric, we have to spend the money on these, like, the doors that open up, so it's like that indoor-outdoor space.
yeah.
That's the focal
And
point," and he's like, "And then we needed to spend the money on the big windows that overlook." That's the he's like, "How many focal points does this house
I mean, there's a lot of focal
There's a
points.
lot of focal points. But
But, yes, we'll insert pictures, of course, if you're listening. Check out our socials for pictures as well as, YouTube. Okay, so, yeah, I can't wait for phase 3. I
yeah,
saw,
so
like, some of the
excited.
marble going in your closet, which is like, it was pinker than I expected, but you said it looks different in photos, and then when you sent me the video, I was like, "It totally looks different in video than pictures." They photograph a lot more pink.
Yeah, it does have more of a pink. I was like, "Ooh, it is maybe a little bit pinkier than I thought it was." I didn't think I was gonna go really girly, but it's a light it almost reminds me of, like, a Himalayan salt color. So it's that
Yeah,
light
yeah.
Himalayan salt kind of, and it's quartzite, and it lights up from underneath. So you can
It's
turn on,
just
yeah, it's really good. So I made there's
gorgeous.
lights underneath, yeah, because you need because you need lights in your marble in your closet, right? Like, I mean,
Of
who
course,
doesn't?
of
Yeah.
course. Well, I mean, you lit up the whole
The
thing, the
focal
shelving
point
and
of that
everything.
room, okay?
Well, okay, what I'm not sorry for this week is switching my art around.
Mhm.
I constantly take all the art down from my walls, and I have a lot of art up in my house. Like, I've counted before, and I'm not even gonna say how much. Like, it doesn't look that packed, but I have, like, a few different gallery walls that are kind of, like, unnecessary, and I'm getting over now. But, I love changing art. I find it just changes the whole room.
It does. It's like a good, throw pillow, you know?
Totally,
Yeah.
and it was funny, I was watching on Netflix the other day, Chelsea Handler's special just came out. It's called The Feeling, just came out on Netflix. It was really funny. One thing she says about art, she's like, "Art's like a duvet cover. If it's there, nice, but I don't need to know the backstory about it." I'm not big into art like that, where I need to know, like, what was the artist thinking during these strokes and stuff. Like,
Right.
I'm not like
You
that, but
either
I
like it or
love
you
a
don't.
good, cool picture and
Yeah, it
stuff.
either speaks to you or you don't. So Eric made so one thing I did save him money on was the art upstairs on my upstairs because I painted them myself. I was going into Restoration Hardware, I was going to all these places and I was like, I could it was just abstract, right? And it was like thousands and
Yeah,
thousands and thousands of dollars, and I was like, "I could try to do this, and if it doesn't work out, whatever, like, no, nothing lost." Anyway, I did it, and they're hanging up there, and Eric tells people we
and
got them
they're
commissioned, and
so
people believe him until I tell them the truth.
yeah, but totally, they're so nice. I think I asked right away, like, "Where did you get those?" Like, they're so
It's
nice, and
so
they're like, "I
easy.
painted them." I'm like, "Yeah, right."
I am not artistic whatsoever, but it's pretty abstract is pretty easy.
Okay, and we'll insert picture right here, and who knows, maybe you may get commissioned, maybe this is your art career taking off.
And maybe. I don't have
Our
time.
podcast is in the arts category, so any artists, if you're listening,
Right, send me the real deal. If it's ugly and I should take it down, please let me know because it's one of those I'm like, I don't know,
I
Eric."
love it, you've inspired me, and I've wanted to do it. I haven't yet, but I've set off a few weekends to want to try, but I just haven't
Yeah.
yet. Okay, so, one thing as I was, like, researching about home stuff, of course, one of the best reality shows of all time back in the day was Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
Mhm. I remember that, that was
Do you
awesome.
remember
Mhm.
do you remember, like, "Move that
Yeah,
bus,"
I
like
do. What was his
and, like,
Ty
how
something?
emotional was that? I think I might have cried every
It
episode.
was so emotional. They helped all those people. I know, it was really nice.
But not not to be the Debbie Downer
Oh,
now,
hey, Bob.
but well, Bob, there
Well,
is a dark side to Extreme Makeover Home Edition that I came across.
oh, no, don't
Yeah.
tell me they stole money or something. They took advantage of the people.
Well, a few things happened. Now, of course, I have both sides here. I did a little research, but more than 10 years after the original series wrapped, about a bunch of former participants came out to reveal the horrors they faced after cameras stopped rolling.
Mm.
Bitter financial hardships, theft, crime. So there's this one family that was interviewed. They were the Okvath family. They had a little girl, Cassandra, who was diagnosed with cancer. They had multiple kids and like astronomical medical bills. And they were living in a tiny rental house. So originally the show came to them and asked them, like, we want to reno your house. And the family actually wanted to renovate the cancer ward where she was being treated at, which I thought, but they
Aw, that's so nice.
decided to they decided to do the home for them instead, Extreme Makeover Home Edition. So the crew purchased the rental house that her and her family had been in. They demolished it and built a mansion in its place. that they went from 2 bedrooms to 6 bedrooms. It had, like they had everything, technology of everything. They added state of the art everything, appliances, everything to this house, and then they handed over the deed, the mortgage, no payments at all. Which and then the show ends, and you're like, "Oh my god, those lucky people," and you're like, "I wanna live in their house." Well, I guess they got their first hydro bill, and it was $2,200.
Mm.
So, um, that was more than their mortgage and all their former bills combined, times
Aw.
just that one hydro bill. They were having trouble doing it, so they had to shut down half the house, and they lived in only half the house. They ended up having to borrow $400,000.
Why didn't
Then
they
with
just
all
sell
the
the house?
while we're getting there,
Oh.
then, all the advertising of the house and stuff, everybody knew it was an Extreme Makeover Home Edition house and all the state-of-the-art electronics and everything in there.
Mhm.
So theft and robbery and stuff became and, like, the people were breaking into their houses, so they had to sell. Now, this was back in 2009 at the height of the recession and the housing crisis. So they sold. There were few buyers in the market for multi-million dollar homes during that time, right?
And maybe in
So
that
they
area
sold.
too. Sometimes you can outprice yourself in a neighborhood, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
yeah.
Because they demolished the rental home they were originally in, but they ended up selling the house for only $540,000 after paying all the loans and debts that they acquired. They only walked away with about $8,000 in hands to start anew. So
Aw.
this is one of the horror stories. Now, another one is the Higgins family. It was 5 kids.
I think I remember that,
They
the show, that episode. I feel like
Do
I do.
you?
Yeah.
I know. Well, when you can Google image this, and it's actually on, this show called The Dark Side of Reality TV. I think it's maybe a Max show. It's on Crave in Canada, but it's the dark side of the 90s, and it goes and it's like a documentary, and it goes everything. It's actually quite a cool show. I liked it.
Hmm.
But the next family is the Higgins family. They had 5 orphans and kids. 5 orphans aged 15 to 21, and their parents died within months of each other. They were taken in by a family, and that a family immediately applied. Extreme Makeover Home Edition built an 8-bedroom house, all the latest tech, and they give new cars to everyone over the age of 16.
Aw.
Now, one of the kids that were orphaned, the night after they finished filming, me and my brothers and the family had a meeting. They were told they had to turn their cars in so the dad could get a new truck. It got so bad that the Higgins siblings, they ended up having to flee from the house with just the clothes on their backs. 2 of them alleged, now this is all alleged, of course, that they were not allowed to take anything with them, nor were they allowed to retrieve their things, including photos of the parents, and they were just left on their own. Now, the family does come back and state that these kids were really bad at the time and had behavior issues, yada, 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 but they were like 18 and 17 and whatever. So those 2 Higgins kids actually ended up bringing lawsuits up against the network and the family, seeking damages on allegations that included like fraud, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and breach of contract. Things got ugly from there. The suit was dismissed. Jeremiah and his siblings were awarded $50,000 from the Leometis family, which was split among 5 of them.
Hmm.
So now
So they
these, of
use the
course, are
kids to get the house and the cars? Is that the, like,
it
the
sounds
moral
like
of the
that.
story? Okay. Hmm.
Now, this is, of course, like
That's sad.
2 stories when, like, I bawled every Sunday night when that show was on, you know? Like, I'm
Yeah.
sure there's many. And Ty Pennington, who was the life of that
I
show,
can.
I do have a quote from him saying, "There's a couple of stories that families lost their homes," he said, adding that the show's producers believed they'd done everything necessary to help the families maintain their newly renovated properties. "We left them with a financial advisor. However, if the family chooses to triple mortgage their house to start a business that they've never done before, or to just see if they can get into it, that's their own demise. That's how you lose your home. Is you're like, oh, let's use it as a lottery ticket and see what we can get out of it. And then you lose it because you can't make the payment."
Right.
Ty Pennington.
I mean, if you can't
So,
afford it, I would just sell it right out of the gate. Like, why take a $400,000 loan?
right, like that's what I would think people from on game shows and stuff, when you win all those things, I'm sure everybody sells those.
Do you know what game show is filmed 10 minutes up the road from me? It
Oh, let me guess. Like it's in Trilith.
uh-huh.
It's gotta be, like, is Steve Harvey in Family Feud?
Yes.
Is it Family Feud?
Yes, and
Okay,
anyone
okay,
can
I
go.
knew
You should go we should go next time you come. It's free. I think it's free, you just have to wait in line to get in, but I think it would be such a funny thing to do.
and 10 minutes from is the Trella Studios.
Yeah, I was in Trillith last night, and I saw a celebrity. Trillith is you never know who you're gonna run into. It was, we saw sitting next to us was Joel McHale. Do you remember him? He did that Talk Soup.
Yes, the host
Yes.
of House of Villains. He's hilarious. He's a great comedian.
Yeah, he looks exactly the same in real life. Yeah, he was right
Oh
next to
my
him.
god, you should have asked him to be on our
I
podcast.
should have. Yeah, no, I didn't want a celebrity crash. I'm sure they get that all the time, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
That's cool, and, like, didn't you see Millie Bobby Brown there once too? Like, the girl from Stranger Things, or you saw
Oh,
her,
that was
like
in no, that was in, like, here in Peachtree City.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she filmed the Stranger Things is filmed in Atlanta, and
Stranger Films is filmed right here. Walking Dead was filmed across, like, in Sonoya. Like, it's bizarre. You just never know who you're gonna run into.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it's cool.
Well, in my hometown of Calgary, Alberta, The Last of Us.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, that was a huge show, based on a video game, but with Pedro Pascal,
Mm.
and, it was filmed all over Calgary and stuff, like
Ooh,
Mount
cool.
Royal University and stuff, and anyway, the new season is starting, I think, this week maybe, so that's, like they won tons of Emmys and tons of Golden Globes and awards. The
Cool.
Last of Us, so good. Okay, so let's move on to maybe the trends of 2025.
'Kay.
So I want to start off by saying, we looked at Martha Stewart, we looked at Architectural Digest, and of course, now everybody has their own style. And one thing that stuck out to me is I want to say first is one of the top 10 things in Architectural Digest was called curated eclecticism. So that's using no trends, having your personal unique style, getting treasures and unique things from like travels and wherever, and just having a unique space based on what you love. And I really think that's what everybody should do.
I actually think that's coming back. Like, I know you're gonna get into some of the trends, but I actually think where we've seen a more lighter neutral palette, you're gonna start seeing dark, heavier, eclectic, kind of, mixed matched things, just like what you described, coming back into the fashion.
Well, and that's exactly, and I'll
Yeah,
knock 2 out of the park with what you said right there, because, one thing in Architectural Digest, they said was pattern drenching, like plaid walls, a floral sofa, patterned
yeah,
curtains and stuff,
mhm,
and in Martha Stewart's list too, it said layers of color, textures,
yeah,
different textures, and everything like that, and what I saw a lot of was, like, kind of wallpapered ceilings with
yeah.
all different textures, just looked so cool.
Accent walls are out. So they now it's about the ceiling. So and I just did an
Mm.
accent wall in Ella's room, so, I mean, for
Yeah,
all of you with
I was
accent walls, I'm sorry to don't go change your accent walls, but going for it but if you wanna know the trends,
going
that was a
forward.
huge fad for the last few years is kind of an accent
Mhm.
wall. Now it's all about your ceiling is a more elevated look, they say. But I don't wanna offend anybody.
Yeah,
I just did one in my house in my daughter's bedroom, so
totally,
yeah,
and I saw lots of those, like, especially in, like, smaller spaces, like, kind of like a, little den or a powder room, especially, that's where I think they can use that pattern drenching, they call it. So I kinda liked Martha Stewart's list a little bit better.
so let's go with that.
So the first one is English style kitchens are in.
Mhm.
Now, what do you think of that, Glory?
I think so. Like, I think do you know, the design the McGee& and Co? They were on Netflix.
Oh, yes.
What the hell's her
Yeah,
Shay McGee. She is bringing back more of that traditional English style look,
yeah,
like you see it now they sell it she sells it in Target. She's and I actually like it. It's a little too traditional for me, but I do appreciate some of the things that she does.
yeah.
So I
She's
think
got,
that's
like, got that husband that works with her and, like, 3 little
yeah,
girls or something.
yeah.
Yeah, I watched their show on Netflix a few years ago.
Yeah, it was good. She became like,
Yeah.
she was her training was on Instagram. Like, that's her story. She was, like, in
Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
which is where I think I'm an Instagram interior designer because I just you scroll and find ideas, and I'm like, "Ooh, we're doing this."
Save it, save it,
Save
save
it,
it.
save it,
Yeah.
save it. Yeah.
Um, Something, and I'm looking for a new couch right now, and the next one on Martha Stewart's was rounded furniture, and I was
Mhm,
looking at all these couches, it looks so cool, I'm
mhm.
obsessed, and now I'm just looking at a round couch for my living room. What do you think of rounded furniture, Glory?
I like it. I'm a
It's
Virgo, so
kinda
I like really.
spacey.
What's that?
It's kinda like space age or futuristic,
Yeah,
I
no,
find.
I like it. I'm looking at a couple accent chairs for my living room that are a little more rounded. I got rounded dining room chairs,
Yeah,
but my couch is pretty clean. I'm kind of a mix, but yeah, no, I like it.
yeah.
Mhm. Like, for the right
You know,
space.
one thing that I was really disappointed by seeing in person is those, Restoration Hardware cloud couches.
Mhm. I have.
Like,
Yeah.
and I was obsessed with them. I was like, "Oh my god, I need to go to Restoration Hardware just to see it." And I don't know, it's not for type A people or people that like their house kind of tidy all the time. It always looks like someone has just slept on your
Yeah, you
couch.
need to make your bed. So I wanted one of those as well. I actually do have a Restoration Hardware couch, but
Yours
it's
is
the more f
different, yeah.
it's a more firmer one where it still feels soft, but it's not to the level like, the cloud couches are so comfortable, but you're right,
They're so
they
comfortable.
crease, it looks like like, you need to make your bed all the time.
I know it looks
Yeah,
me it just makes the room look messy, so I think, like, maybe downstairs movie rooms and stuff, or maybe people that don't care about that, right? Like, it's
yeah,
people that don't care, like, that just wanna go for strictly comfort
comfort, yeah.
because they sure are comfortable.
Mine is a mix, so it's still comfortable, but it's still holds its shape.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's other ones you can get.
The next trend, Martha Stewart, is arches. Now you're all over this. Your whole well, everything in your house is arched, I think.
Yeah, so my husband's big joke is had to spend all this money getting all the outside arches away and then spend all this money putting all the arches back inside the house.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have beautiful oak arched doors, kind of like double doors in Eric's closet, and my closet has a double arched door, like all the main floor has arches. Yeah, I like them.
I feel it just changes like a house. It just makes everything softer.
Yeah,
Throw
they're
that with
really
some
pretty.
rounded furniture, and I mean, like, call me. The next one I'm obsessed with as well is shower rooms. So that's like, of course, the shower, like, everyone's just obsessed with kind of just the half glass wall, but the bathtub and the shower and
Is
everything
in the
kind of
same
being
room.
in the same place.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm obsessed with that. My builder
Okay,
asked me about
well,
that when we were building our bathroom. We don't have first of all, we didn't have the space, but I don't know. I like my
your
little.
tub is in
It
now and your
is,
bathroom's
yeah,
coming together
it's coming
nicely.
together nicely, yeah.
But, yeah, I think I thought they were kinda cool, but I guess I could see how they could get messy too.
Yeah, I like it kinda separated, I don't know, and we have a steam shower in our new bathroom, so I needed the wall to,
Mm,
like, go up to the ceiling.
yes.
Mhm.
So next, trend, thank you, Martha Stewart, is the range alcoves. So, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but, just over top of the stove and kind of going straight across, just kind of recessed kind of in the wall.
Mhm. Yeah, that's
The
nice.
whole
I think the vent hood, though,
Yeah.
is sort of the jewelry or the focal point. It's the focal point. Focal point is the word of the day, of the kitchen. Like, we went with a really beautiful stucco clean white one over our range, and I
Yeah.
just think it draws your eyes to sort of the
Oh, I
middle of
like
the
that, the
kitchen.
jewelry of the
Yeah.
kitchen.
Well, also, do you know
I
what the
like that.
jewelry of the kitchen is underneath that I told Eric? It's the
Chandelier?
pot hole no, the pot filler.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
he's like,
yeah, yeah.
"Do we really need this? The sink's right there." I'm like, "Yes, we need it. It's the jewelry of the wall." Like, it's an ex
Okay,
it's
okay,
like a
I like the way
nice
that
necklace.
sounds.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, I love what are they called? Vent hoods?
Vent hoods,
No.
yeah.
Yeah, I love, like, even a statement when I've seen, like, some brushed nickel ones that look really cool, and anyway. And the next one, Martha Stewart, is woven and mesh cabinet fronts.
Mhm. Yeah, I just did that in our ensuite bathroom. Do you remember? It has that, like, meshed, front on
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a little
Yep.
more traditional looking, and I was a little worried that it was gonna be a little too traditional for the rest of my house, but I think it goes.
Next one is wood-infused architectural warmth. So that's kinda like the beams or, like, across or,
I
like,
love
even, like,
that.
around the crown molding.
Mhm,
You have nice beams up in your whole house.
I
You
love a
really have
warm
hit all Martha's trends.
I'm telling you, I think a wooden beam, no matter and that's timeless.
Yeah,
Like, even at my cabin in Canada, we had those that was one of the things I loved about the
yeah,
cabin was those nice, beautiful beams. But even the floors, we went with real wood on the floor, white oak, like a really thick, board. I think it was like 13 inches. But it just brings warmth to the house. It was
totally.
yeah,
And especially if you have, like, a white modern house with a lot of windows and stuff, it really does bring that warmth, exactly, kind of brings it, like it makes it yeah.
earthy and kind of yeah, I like it.
And the other one is multiple outdoor cooking areas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
so
have
you
that too.
hit that.
We have a
Did you
deck off
redo your did you redo your pool house as well?
I just paint well, the bathroom and then I painted it. But we
Okay,
do want to eventually, like,
yeah.
expand, but
And
that's
so,
phase
of course,
55.
down there, you have a full kitchen and then a grill and everything, the brisket and the
Yeah.
egg and all those things as well too, as
Yes,
well as
smoker.
upstairs at your kitchen too. Where do you, entertain more from? Your
So my
kitchen
house is,
or
like, seasonal, like, in the winter, it's always up on the top deck because we're, like, in and
yeah,
out grilling. The fall, we have, like, an underneath deck, and it's where we watch, like, football and do, like, chili and, like, have, like, people out
yeah,
kinda there, we light a fire, and then summer, it's out by the pool house.
yeah.
Mhm,
Oh, so nice.
mhm.
Um, so of course I did Architectural Digest too, but I think they hit a lot of them. Ones I do want to hit that they said is decorative hardware, kind of mixing and matching all different things.
Mhm.
Love that.
I think that's,
They
like,
also
on that's a trend that we should talk about because and I'm guilty of it myself. I've gone with all sort of brushed, gold in my house, and except for down
Mhm.
here, I did go with, chrome, but mixed metals are actually in. But the
Totally
Virgo
love
in me
mixed
can't do
metal.
it. I need to, like, have it all sort of somewhat in the same family, but it actually mixed metals are in, and
Oh,
it's
mixed
a trend.
metals, mixed woods,
Mhm.
mix it all. Yeah, pattern drench, as they said. But yeah, no, I love mixed
As
metals.
long as they don't compete with each other, like, I had the gold hardware on my oven has little gold knobs, and then I've got the gold hardware on my cabinets, and then I got these gold pendants, and they weren't it's not exact, and I was worried that it was whatever, but they're enough in the same family that they don't compete with each other, but it's
Yeah.
when you get colors that
And they're
do.
not sorry if I think I are they black, your pendants with
No,
gold?
no, they're gold.
No.
Big gold
Okay.
domes.
Okay, so also Architectural Digest, flowing curved elements, arches, rounded walls, rounded furniture. Interesting the colors they said were deep greens, merlots, rich wood
Mhm.
tones.
But I'm telling
Love
you, it's
that.
going back to sort of the old speakeasy vibes, like the dark
Mhm.
woods. Yeah, it's gonna be a shift in the next few years, but I'm not redoing my house. We're staying with fire
No.
with light and airy.
Architectural Digest did come out with an out list, which kind of broke my heart, the first one here, because I mean, I guess it's out when it's everywhere else, but mid-century modernism. They'll say it
Mm,
remains a classic, but its popularity will be declining.
mm. That's
Before
funny
you
because
couldn't
you can
really
still find a lot of mid-century modern in all the big, like Restoration
all
Hardware, like
and you could never before. So that's kind of new that it just came. So we've got a few more years. Another thing they said was Barbie pink. And
mm,
I thought this was funny. They said dark gray and slate also will be taking a hit. Like these
mhm.
colors are taking a hit. Another thing overly trendy is out, embracing personal style and your eclectic style, which I love. I think that's so important because whatever you do for your house, it's the most thing. And the last thing they said that was out was home offices. They're looking at more hybrid work balance places where you could just put a desk down somewhere, but it's more of a
I need my
livable space
office.
too.
Eric and I have 2 like, he has his own office, I have my own office, and I do a
Yeah.
hybrid work schedule, so I need my door to shut.
All right, it's time for Ask Us Anything, Glory.
Okay.
So the first question comes from Steph Irwin, nurse injector on Instagram. And her question was, are we still loving beige, off-white baseboards and doors?
I think beige is so here's what beige what I do love is, like, on a cabinet. So what is I do not love anymore is a stark white cabinet in a kitchen, but that putty beige, there's a color called
Yeah.
agreeable beige that I know, is really popular on cabinets now, and it's kind of that putty color if you think about it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's amazing. I used the color that I did my whole main floor was called Cloud White by Benjamin Moore, and it's kind of a softer white. It just went really but, I mean, white is very, very there's so many different whites, and you have to put it on your wall, and you
It's
have to see what it looks like in your light, so don't just take this and make sure you try it
yeah,
out, but I love the soft white because it's not it is a it doesn't it's not beige, but it's not white, white, white. Gives a really warm feel to the room. So I think beige is on the way out, but I do think in certain situations, like I said, a cabinet, it's totally in.
yeah. I love a putty beige,
Putty beige.
and I think with doors, and I just recently in the midst of kind of going into a black kitchen, and I just kind of painted like my pantry door black. I've brought
Oh,
in
really?
yeah, and like black sink and everything, and I just got a black stainless steel fridge,
Mm.
which I would recommend to everyone, especially people with kids that don't love fingerprints. I tell you, I run my fingers up and down that goddamn thing, and I cannot put a fingerprint. The only thing you have to clean is the handles because the handles are still stainless steel,
Yeah,
so you get fingerprints on those, but, like, I couldn't put a fingerprint on this thing if I tried.
that's cool.
Next question is, some favorite things about your house that you have for both of us. Why don't you start, Glory?
Well, we talked about some of them already. I feel like that's all we've been talking about. But some of
What's
like
the
the
home
feature
episode?
the features I know. The features that I like some of the things that we put in that I was kind of like, "Do I need it? Do I not need it? Is it nice to have?" But I actually really like. We put in a warming drawer in my kitchen, and I don't use it every day, and my, like, sell to Eric was like, "Oh, well, your captain, when you come home late at night, your dinner will be waiting in the warming drawer." I haven't done
Yeah.
that once.
No, but it's good for entertaining, like, when we were there throwing stuff in while,
If
you
you're
know
entertaining or when they have, like, a big, like, Thanksgiving dinner and, you take something out of the oven and you, like, need the oven space, it's a nice I do use
and I believe that's what they use in bathrooms for towel warming.
well, funny you mentioned that. We are putting that into our
Okay.
new ensuite, and, yeah, it's gonna be a towel warmer, but it actually is a warming door that
Yes.
they use. So it's like a yeah. So I can't wait to try it.
Another thing that I heard in the warmings, universe is they have this thing on Amazon. It's a lotion warmer where it goes over your lotion, it warms their lotion that
Ooh,
you put on.
interesting. I don't have
Okay?
that. So
No,
that
okay,
was
okay.
one. We also did one of those, it's like a filtered water spout off of my sink, and
Mm.
there's one side is, like, hot water and one side is cold water, and so, like, when you want
Ah.
tea or, like my kids are, like, into ramen, like, that's all that this is their
Oh, yeah.
food major food group. They just have to, like, basically pour the spout, and we use that all the time, and it was another one of those, Eric's like, "You don't even drink tea. When are you gonna use it?" But I actually use it all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet if it was readily available, it would be a lot easier to have a tea or something like that, yeah.
The other feature that
Good
I
for
really
you.
love that we did is I did a separate big pantry, and that's why we had to push out the house, but I wanted all the clutter out of the kitchen. So, like, my toaster's in there, my coffee machine is in there, all my, like, cereals, canned goods, like, all of like, all those
All the
things
snacks.
are, like, appliances, like waffle makers and, like, all those types of things that you don't use every day. It's all in this
Yeah.
pantry, and so my kitchen counters are all, like, spotless, which I
Well,
absolutely
as
love.
spotless as it can be with 3 kids.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
Like,
spotless is
but
what I mean
totally,
is it's not like the
you did
toaster's not there,
eliminate a
you know
ton of stuff, and I love just standing in your pantry and just like, because one thing I love about America is the grocery stores.
Yes,
Oh,
I
you
agree.
guys have the best grocery stores in the world.
We do. Well, I think
Shout
we
out
have one
Trader Joe's.
They're building one, I think, here in Peachtree City.
That's what you told me. And just a Publix. I mean, just anything. You guys have just such better variety.
The last thing I'm gonna tell you before they ask anything, and then I'm gonna stop talking about my house, is I splurged on my toilet in my master. So I got one of those really expensive Toto ones that when you walk and I did and they just installed it like 2 days ago. And so I walked in and I wasn't prepared. I didn't know. Walked in to see it and the toilet seat shot up. Like it's on like a motion sensor. So
Yeah.
it took
Well, not shot up. Didn't it come up slowly?
well,
Like,
no, it went up pretty quick. It's pretty
okay,
quick.
well, be careful in there.
Well, it scared me. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting
Right.
the toilet to move. And then,
And
yeah,
so
it's
it's
got heated seats, it's
Japanese,
got all the
right?
things. What's that?
It's Japanese.
I guess, Toto. I don't know
Did you
anything
say
about it, but
Toto? Yeah, and it is a seat warmer.
has a seat
It
warmer, it cleans
has
itself. I don't
bidet,
I don't know.
like a front bidet, a back bidet.
All
It's
the
just
things.
bidet all day, okay?
Bidet all day. I don't know that I yeah. Anyway, I
No,
haven't
okay,
used it
well,
yet, but it
can't
was
wait. I'll be in your ensuite bathroom all the goddamn time.
Okay, so what is your Ask Me Anything?
Oh, things that I love in my house. Well, I love like a room in my house that I made. I always wanted this. I always thought like in my 20s and stuff. And I was like, when I buy my own house, I want to have like a bar. And so my bar room, I love. It's got like a dance floor. It's got a gallery wall of like all celebrity mugshots. So I have like all six of Lindsay Lohan's. I have like big ones of like Steve McQueen, Frank Sinatra, Tupac, Johnny Cash, Jane Fonda. Anyway, all different sizes and stuff. And then on my bar, I kind of have industrial shelving, and then I put like I wanted it like to be like a bullet theme. So I've got like bullet like shot glasses in these glasses with like bullets coming out of them.
Keith's
And
house is very Keith. So it's a back to your eclectic self, like, your house screams Keith. The
well, my favorite, like Jonathan Adler's my favorite designer. Like
Yes.
he's got these certain pieces that are like they just to transform a room,
Well,
right?
I know that you love you and I have shopped in Houston, remember, for all your Jonathan Adler's stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
so good. So, yeah, I love the bar dance floor in my house.
I my our dance floor, sometimes I have that one of those really big coffee tables. It's that, like, wood one from Restoration Hardware, if you've seen it. I don't know. Anyway, I've had it
Yeah,
forever, but
yeah.
it turns it like, the kids dance on it, like, the adults have danced on it. It's turned into
Oh,
our
yeah.
dance floor many a times.
And it's funny when I bought my house, I got a coffee table made, and that was one of the things is I said to the guy, I said, that's when like the real big thick wood kind of was in. And I said, I just want something I'm able to dance on.
Yeah. Who doesn't love that?
Who doesn't love dancing on a table? Well, lots of people actually, but we certainly do love dancing on tables, Glory.
Agreed.
Or with dad. I
Yeah, I
mean,
don't
we
know if
still
I've done
can.
it lately.
You're never too old.
I guess not.
Okay, well, thanks everybody for listening to the home episode. I just would like to remind everybody the podcast charts. We were up 38 spots today to number 19, I think it was, which is great, but it all goes by download. So I know a ton of you are listening, but maybe not downloading. So there are just those three little dots by the Purple Podcast, Apple Podcast ones that you just download the episode. On Spotify, just a little arrow that you click. Follow us on our socials and let us know any questions you guys have for Ask Us Anything.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you, and thank you for all the support and all the we get a lot of comments and DMs, and it's just awesome, so thanks for the love.
Totally.
Mhm.
Yeah. We'll see everybody next week.
Have a great week, Keith.
You too.